He says, we truly are in an epic battle between good and evil. The eye of Sauron, the deep state surveillance consortium. By the way, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel was an FBI informant? No, really? You don't understand Palantir? Over a decade ago, I was doing articles about Palantir. Palantir is about data mining. Palantir is about surveillance. And Palantir is about the Lord of the Rings. They openly reference it everywhere. The Palantir, if you remember, and it's even their corporate symbol. Their corporate symbol is a little ball, being supported, just like the Palantirs of Lord of the Rings. What were the Palantirs? If you haven't read it, they were the crystal balls, if you will, that were the means by which the different kings had communicated with each other. And yet, it was tapped into by Sauron. Sauron was able to see into the Palantir. If you've seen the movie, you understand. As soon as you got onto that thing, Sauron starts watching you. That is exactly the analogy that they use for their company, their data mining company. They are the eye of Sauron. That is Palantir's self-conscious reference of what they do. You get on the internet and you start communicating with people, they start looking into you. And I mean, they look into you. It's a magical thing in the Lord of the Rings, but they start analyzing you, analyzing your beliefs, your religious, your political beliefs, analyzing what they think you're going to do next. And they're pretty good at anticipatory intelligence. That AI has been around for quite a while. They're very good at that. And so they look into you, friend or foe, to Sauron. That's what Peter Thiel has been doing for a long time. He was the financial founder of that. Of course, he was also the financial founder of PayPal. What does PayPal do? Same thing, really, financially. PayPal are the first ones to kick me to the corner financially. They know who I am. I'm not hiding from them. And they know, and you have to understand what these people are about. So he's an FBI informant? Give me a break. He's an informant to Sauron and has been. That's his business models. He's a transhumanist. This was put out by Business Insider. I'm going to tell you why they put this out. As I said, Palantir, PayPal, they've always been government informants. Nothing new about it. It's interesting that nobody really wanted to talk about that. I talked about it for a very long time, and I guess that's maybe one of the reasons why I was punished by PayPal for talking about that. Peter Thiel has worn many hats over the years, says Business Insider. Silicon Valley founder, Trump mega donor, cryptocurrency booster, democracy skeptic. Well, the democracy skeptic part of this is that he wants to set up a technocracy. And in that regard, he and the other guy who set up PayPal, Elon Musk, both of them are technocrats. They're not on our side. And both of them have pretended to identify with libertarian or conservative values to make us think that they're on our side. Peter Thiel was never on our side. Elon Musk has never been on our side and is not on our side now. He may be doing some things that we interpret that way on Twitter, but it's ultimately for his own interest and ultimately for transhumanism. Both of them are transhumanists. Both of them are looking for a technocracy. Again, I'll just remind you, it was Elon Musk's grandfather, Joshua Haldane, who in the 1930s as technocracy, of course, it's always the same people, isn't it? Whether you're talking about Aldous Huxley pushing the technocracy, or H.G. Wells, or whether you're talking about Huxley's brother, Julian, who coined the term transhumanist, they always are after the same thing. They're going to rule us all via technology. They're smarter than we are. We're nothing. We don't deserve self-governance. We don't deserve individual rights. And of course, where do we get individual rights from anyway if there is no God? These people think they are God. By the way, they think that they're channeling God, as from what I've heard at the Burning Man festival as well with their drugs. But that aside, the technocracy aspect of it, the transhumanist aspect, people that have not talked about that, and they've not talked about Palantir, which has been marketed to the military. It's been marketed to the intelligence agencies. It's been marketed to domestic law enforcement, to surveil America. Massive part of the surveillance state. Alex Karp is running it, but it was Peter Thiel who gave it the money and put the thing together. And their posters are all over Washington, D.C., or at least used to be when I did that report. Again, a referencing themselves to J.R.R. Tolkien and identifying essentially with Sauron. In the summer of 2021, Thiel began providing information as a confidential human source to Jonathan Buma, an LA-based FBI agent who specializes in investigating political corruption and foreign influence campaigns. But again, this is nothing compared to Palantir and to PayPal. Thiel did speak to Buma occasionally. The source said that any assistance that Thiel might have provided to the FBI should be understood as part of Thiel's gradual distancing of himself, listen to this, from Trump and from the broader MAGA movement, which has vigorously criticized the FBI and other federal law enforcement agencies. And that's what this Business Insider article is all about. No surprise. Peter Thiel has never been on our side. He got behind Trump, but Trump is not on our side either. And this is a PR move, this Business Insider report, to distance himself from the MAGA movement. And that's all that this is about, quite frankly. And if you go back and you look at, Ray Epps, for example, right? Ray Epps is going to sue, he said, I don't know if he's going through the lawsuit or not. He's going to sue Tucker Carlson, sue Fox News for calling him a federal informant, a federal agent. And as the man who continually attacked him for being that, why? To distract from the fact that, like I said before, regardless of Ray Epps is, he whispered into the ear of a couple of people, so what? Even if he was telling them to do this, so what? Who told them to come? Who gave them the hope that they could change things? Who got them whipped into a frenzy? Who made millions of dollars? Well, people like Alex Jones who stopped the steal, people like Donald Trump who made hundreds of millions of dollars were the ones who instigated this. They were pushing people. You want to know who's to blame for that? Don't blame Ray Epps, even if he is a Fed informant. He had very little to do with any of that stuff. Doing his darndest if he was a Fed informant. But Darren Beattie focused on him, who has a revolver, and of course, outing him as a Fed to try to distract attention to what the leaders of the MAGA movement, the influencers of the MAGA movement, including Trump, had done to their own people. Stealing their wallet and throwing them under the bus. To distract from that, they focused on him. And so when he said, I'm going to sue Tucker and I'm going to sue Fox News, he didn't say he's going to sue Darren Beattie because Darren Beattie probably doesn't have deep pockets like that. But he was the one who was going on all these different talk shows, Tucker and Alex and all the rest of this stuff. I guess talk show ho, that was kind of a Freudian slip, I guess. A bunch of hoes out there. But anyway, Darren Beattie's response to that was he said, and I forget the person who it was some rapper, and somebody accused them of being a government informant, and he sued them for that. And when it got before the judge says, well, there's nothing wrong with being a government informant. I don't see how you're damaged by that. And Darren Beattie said, this is what's going to happen if Ray Epps tries to sue Tucker or anybody else. The judge is going to say, well, it's great being a government informant. Look, they're very happy with Peter Thiel being a government informant, and he has done more than inform the government.
You say stooge like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Well, the guy who was the target of this stuff, as Johnson addressed this Business Insider piece on a post on Substack, says Information Liberation. Charles Johnson, he says, on my extracurricular activities and the Business Insider Peter Thiel story and the Founders Fund. Founders Fund is what Peter Thiel put together. They call it the PayPal Mafia because so many people made so much money out of PayPal. They became investors in all these different companies. And Peter Thiel, they call him the godfather of the PayPal Mafia. And so Johnson said, so why did Peter Thiel buy the Nexium property that he gave to his lover? Is really interesting, isn't it? He said. He says, I don't know whether Information Liberation says, I don't know whether anything he's saying is true, but I do remember Thiel's talk at the RNC in 2016 encouraged Republicans to surrender on the culture war. And it completely missed the mark. It reminds me of how Israel First vulture capitalist Peter Singer, says Information Liberation, how he dumped millions of dollars into the GOP to get them to surrender on gay marriage. Johnson last week also claimed that he personally saw Ben Shapiro, quote, receive tasking from Israeli intelligence connected to Netanyahu, quote unquote, when he worked next to him at Breitbart. He said on Twitter, he said, I want to be fully on record that I saw Ben Shapiro receive tasking from Israeli intelligence connects to Netanyahu when I worked next to him. When I asked about it, he said he always kept close ties. And then Johnson says, it's time for Ben to register under FARA, Foreign Agents Registration Act. Well, I think that's true of a lot of people. I think we got a lot of people who are more interested in a foreign country than they are in America. And I would certainly put Ben Shapiro in that class, regardless of what, even before I saw this from Johnson. The common man. They created Common Core to dumb down our children. They created Common Pass to track and control us. Their Commons Project to make sure the commoners own nothing. And the communist future. They see the common man as simple, unsophisticated, ordinary. But each of us has worth and dignity created in the image of God. That is what we have in common. That is what they want to take away. Their most powerful weapons are isolation, deception, intimidation. They desire to know everything about us while they hide everything from us. It's time to turn that around and expose what they want to hide. Please share the information and links you'll find at thedavidknightshow.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. If you can't support us financially, please keep us in your prayers. thedavidknightshow.com.